Hi everyone, my name's Pieta Valentine. I've written 2 books, The Resident's Voice from a Dementia Unit and The Resident's Rise from a Dementia Unit. So today's video is on the big day, the big move into the dementia facility. So the man going into the dementia facility is Doug, and his wife has worked hard, to get everything organised. She's read up about dementia. She knows about, present memory, past memory. She's read up about the routine of the unit and most things she needs to know about the setup of the room, etc. But still, there's a lot going on the day. Now, her daughter, Anna, has come down, the nurse from Wellington, to sort things out. But that's been a bit difficult because she's quite, efficient and a little bit officious at times. But anyway, she's getting things done, which is really good. So you appreciate that. And the 2 big items that you wanted, your husband Doug to have were the big green comfortable leather chair, which he always sits in at night, and the footstool. You got that on the trailer as well. Bob, the son, did turn up on time on 1 o'clock that afternoon, Saturday afternoon, to get everything on the trailer and away to the facility. And what else? Oh, the picture of the farm. Yeah, that was a really big deal. Heavy, but a big gold gilded frame, but your husband loved it. It's an heirloom, yes, but it'll be safe up on the wall, that, because pictures don't get pilfered or graffitied in dementia units, hardly ever. And anyway, he's only got his gold wedding band. That's all. Nothing else that's precious. The only 2 precious things were the armchair, green leather, and the big picture of the farm. So you're pleased you got that in. And the tapestry footstool. Because he's pretty mobile. He's not going to trip up on it. It's just his memory that's appalling. Now, anyway, so you get all that done. The big day's arrived. And your daughter is, running around, organised, packing quickly all the gear that he needs, a wardrobe, all his pants and socks and, shirts and everything else. You'd actually done a lot of this, you'd packed them up in various suitcases, but she didn't think that you'd put the right stuff in there, and she was rummaging around and putting in extra stuff and taking other stuff out, and the place was a mess. And anyway, you didn't mind. Never mind. You didn't worry about that. You can deal with that later, because actually at the moment you are into conserving your energy, because it's been very low lately. 8 years of looking after Doug, and it's been a big mission. I mean, he hasn't been aggressive, but he's been difficult. He's always criticising, and he's always thinking that you're pinching his stuff, and just the day-to-day mundane sort of frustration of it all, really, rather than the aggression. It just wears you down. So you're just trying to just keep calm. So because of that, you've decided to go in the car to the unit with your good friend Anne, who's very supportive, and she gets on very well with Doug as well, so that's a big plus. And your daughter's fine travelling with, the son, Bob, who's driving the ute with all the stuff in the back trailer, and Doug's, the husband, he's going off jauntily thinking that he's going to the hospital to get his medication adjusted. You have to tell that little white lie which you weren't happy about, but you're going to sort it out with him and discuss it with him quietly and peacefully when he's hopefully settled in there. So you get there. It's always a bit of a rush, isn't it? Meeting the charge nurse, the doctor's arrived, and then you've got to fill out all these forms because you're the power of attorney, even though, it was whether you or the daughter were going to be power of attorney. Anyway, in the end, you decided you've got a clear mind and clear intellect and focus, and you wanted to be power of attorney, so you're power of attorney. And anyway, so all the room gets set up. It only took, you were amazed, an hour and a half, and it was all done. Anyway, and then you had to go, didn't you? Then you had to leave Doug there, but he was okay, I'm at the hospital, I'm getting my medication adjusted. He was actually a lot better than you thought he'd be. That was a big plus. You were the one that was feeling regretful and whatever, but still you had to be strong, and you had your friend there, where that was helpful. You had to be strong because there was no way out of it. I mean, your energy was at the bottom of the barrel. You knew you could hardly manage another day with Doug at home. It was like the bitter limit. And you've done your very best up to that point, and so no regrets. You've done your best, come what may, and all that, through sickness and in health or whatever that vow was. You were committed, and you would remain committed, you know, to the marriage and friendship whilst he was in the unit. You were sure of that. You weren't going to sort of abandon him or anything. So you were just sort of keeping all these thoughts going. And he was he was actually okay. Doug was okay, because he was getting all this attention from the daughter, and he liked the daughter. She was giving him a lot of positive attention. He had his big green lounge. He wasn't quite sure why he had his green armchair there, but he didn't seem to click on too much. Didn't notice the paint, you know, the picture of the farm at the start, so he'd get to that later. The charge nurse was lovely to him, and it's a lovely facility anyway. I mean, fortunately, it's downstairs. That's why we specially chose that. So the actual grounds are a bit like the back garden at home, you know, just like we've got the big garden at home, with the veggie garden and the fruit trees. And actually at this particular place, they've got a vegetable garden as well, and 1 or 2 fruit trees. So it just feels to him like he's at home wandering around the garden. I mean, he hasn't got the neighbours over the fence, but he's pretty social. You know, you're thinking that he will get on with people okay. You'll find that out, no doubt, when you visit, you know, next time. But he's being, you know, he's actually being quite chirpy, you know, with all this attention. I think compared to being at home on his own, just with me, pretty much, and the neighbours over the fence, he hasn't got a good friend like I have. So he was a bit isolated, whereas here, he seems to be, you know, looking around, and I think the next door neighbour actually that he's going to be living next to, he was a nice man, and he came over and said hello. So maybe it's not going to be as bad as what you think. Anyway, you didn't have much time to think about all this. You thought about this in retrospect, and over the next few days, because your daughter was, you know, hurrying around. Oh, and she was, you know, putting everything in the wardrobe and in the drawers, and the shoes here and the belts here and everything else wherever. And when she'd done all that in her nursey fashion, the place looked pretty organised. It actually looked really good. I mean, there are a couple of things you felt that, you know, Doug needed, like you'd bring in the mohair rug for his bed. The duvet he had, you know, that they'd brought in was good. And you know, maybe a new pillow he needed. That one was a bit old, the feather one that they'd brought in, but you'd get a new feather pillow. But they're light things. You can just carry in these things each time you come. No big deal. So you felt, look, you'd done the best you could. So anyway, Doug's sitting there. You just decided to go first with Anne. That was the easiest way, you know, while your daughter's still with him, rather than anything emotional coming out. So you just said cheerily, goodbye, you know, see you soon, and you just went. That's all you could do, and that was about as much as you could take. I mean, it can't not be emotional, but he was all right. He was with the daughter. He was chatting away, and they brought him in a cup of tea and a cake for afternoon tea, and he thought it was all quite good. Goodness gracious. So you left, and it was actually a relief, you know, to have got through it all. And anyway, your friend drove you home, and she came in and had a cup of tea with you as a bit of a debrief, which was good, because now you're going to be living on your own, aren't you? You know, no Doug. After 50 years of marriage and then no Doug. I mean, it's not exactly like he's died, but he's not actually present in the house anymore. Oh, so, I mean, it's a relief in a sense, isn't it? But still, I mean, it's a loss. And your friend actually said, would you like to come in? Her, you know, and Anna, the friend Anne, she said, or would you like to come and stay for the night, you know, stay for the night? And actually, I said, no, look, I'll be all right. I mean, it would be nice though if you can come and visit me in the morning, you know, maybe we can go for a cup of coffee or out for a walk or something. So that was good. And then you just had to sort of debrief, and you had actually got a nice book from Charlotte Bronte, you know, book from Pride and Prejudice. Sorry, you decided to reread Pride and Prejudice. You'd always liked those classics with those Bronte sisters, and anyway, you know, you'd be able to put your head in that and be travel away with Mr. Darcy and all the rest of it. Maybe that might help. Oh, my time's up. Thank you very much, everyone.